I want to go home, but I can't go back anymore. I miss my brother, but he is already 24 billion kilometers away from me. I set off before my brother, yet I am destined to live in his shadow. I am Voyager 2. On August 20th, 1977, humans threw me into space. 16 days later, my twin brother, Voyager 1, was launched, but it flew faster and chose a shorter route. I was assigned to complete a once-in-176 years miracle, visiting all 4 giant planets of the solar system: Uranus, Neptune. That is a forbidden zone, never touched by humans, a frozen hell at -224 degrees. In 1986, I passed by Uranus alone and discovered it rotating on its side like a giant knockdown. In 1989, I headed towards Neptune, where the storms reached speeds of 2,000 kilometers per hour, more violent than any hurricane on Earth. I captured the Great Dark Spot and was then flung into the void by gravity. My brother deviated from his course to explore Titan, giving up Uranus and Neptune, while I completed the last sites of the solar system for him. In 2018, I followed my brother out of the heliosphere, becoming the second man-made object to enter interstellar space. Now, I drift towards eternity at 15 kilometers per second, 2 kilometers slower than my brother, like a younger brother who spends a lifetime chasing but can never catch up. But what you don't know is that I almost died at the starting line. Just a few days after leaving Earth, my neck got twisted. The scientific instrument platform was completely stuck and everything looked tilted. Even worse, a damn capacitor burned out my main receiver, leaving my left ear completely deaf. I could only barely hear the faint commands from Earth with the less sensitive backup ear. At that moment, the ground control center fell into 72 hours of silence as they debated whether to abandon me. I heard someone say that instead of letting a disabled probe complete humanity's greatest mission, it would be better to leave the resources for the brother. But in the end, a scientist named Ed Stone stood up and said, "We cannot give up on him. He is the only chance." The next 6 months were the longest torment of my life. The engineers, through signals delayed by 2.5 hours, performed an unprecedented long distance remote brain surgery. They rewrote my entire flight software, taught me how to listen to instructions with one ear and how to keep working with a sprained neck. Every time the code was uploaded, I prayed there would be no mistakes because in space, there is no second chance. When the new program finally started running inside me, I felt a wonderful rebirth. I am no longer a lonely machine. The wisdom of the smartest brains on Earth flows through my body. On July 9th, 1979, I arrived at Jupiter with a disabled body. This largest planet in the solar system has a mass 318 times that of Earth. Its great red spot is larger than the entire Earth. I need to precisely skim past at a distance of 570,000 kilometers from Jupiter's cloud tops with an error margin of no more than 150 kilometers. It's like making a race car traveling at 100,000 kilometers per hour pass through a window. With my twisted neck, I struggled to align with Jupiter's moon Io, and then I saw a scene that I will never forget. On this satellite, active volcanoes are erupting, with plumes of sulfur compounds shooting up to 300 kilometers high. This is the first time humans have discovered volcanic activity outside of Earth. I also discovered 3 new small satellites, Thebe, Adrastea, and Metis, hidden within Jupiter's rings, constantly being torn by Jupiter's tidal forces. The lost material formed the dust in Jupiter's rings. When leaving Jupiter, I used its massive gravity to complete the first acceleration, with speed soaring from 10 kilometers per second to 16 kilometers per second. This was the cosmic version of a roller coaster. I rushed towards Jupiter and was then flung out by its gravitational field. It felt like being pushed by an invisible giant hand, propelling me to fly faster and farther in the darkness. On August 26, 1981, I reached Saturn. This planet, with the most beautiful rings unfolded before my eyes, 7 main rings and countless smaller ones, like the most exquisite artwork in the universe. But just as I was about to take close-up shots of Saturn's rings, disaster struck again. The protective cover of the golden record on me suddenly came off due to a design flaw and drifted into the dark space. My heart broke at that moment. The record engraved with the essence of human civilization made me feel incredibly guilty, as if I had lost the most precious token entrusted to me by humanity. But I couldn't stop. I had to keep moving forward. I also discovered 3 new rings of Saturn: the G ring, the F ring, and the E ring. Among them, the F ring is a narrow and twisted ring, guarded like a shepherd by 2 small moons, Pandora and Prometheus. I also filmed Titan, the most mysterious moon in the solar system. It has a nitrogen atmosphere thicker than Earth's, a surface temperature of -179 degrees Celsius, but there might be lakes of liquid methane. Scientists say that Titan is like a frozen version of a young Earth, and perhaps it holds the secrets of the origin of life. After leaving Saturn, My camera malfunctioned as the lubricant solidified in the extremely low temperatures. I thought my photography journey had come to an end. But the ground engineers did not give up. They came up with a bold method, having me rotate the camera platform to heat the lubricant before each photo, then quickly complete the shooting. This method saved me and allowed me to continue documenting the subsequent wonders. On January 24, 1986, I became the only probe in human history to visit Uranus. This ice giant planet is 2,870,000,000 kilometers from the Sun, where the sunlight is only 1,000th of that on Earth, so cold that it's beyond imagination. Even more bizarre is that Uranus rotates on its side, with its rotational axis tilted at 98 degrees, like a drunkard knocked to the ground, with the South Pole directly facing the Sun. I discovered 13 dark rings around Uranus, which are blacker than coal, absorbing almost all light. Scientists still do not know why they are so dark. I also discovered 11 new moons, among which Miranda is one of the strangest moons in the solar system. Its surface looks like it has been torn apart and pieced back together multiple times. Scientists speculate that it may have undergone multiple catastrophic impacts, but what shocked me the most was Uranus's magnetic field. It is tilted 55 degrees from Uranus's axis, and the center of the magnetic field is not at the planet's core, but is offset by 1/3 of a radius. This is so abnormal. It's as if someone deliberately shoved a crooked magnet inside Uranus. This discovery made scientists realize that the internal structure of Uranus might be completely different from what we imagined. On August 25, 1989, I completed the last planetary visit in human history. Neptune, this ice giant planet 4,500 million kilometers from the Sun, is the endpoint of my journey. To get close to Neptune's most mysterious moon, Triton, ground engineers had me perform a daring maneuver, skimming just 4,950 kilometers above Neptune's North Pole. This was the most dangerous flight of my entire journey. Neptune's gravitational field was pulling at me violently, and I felt like I could be torn apart at any moment, but I made it through. I saw Neptune's Great Dark Spot, a storm system larger than Earth, with wind speeds reaching 2,000 kilometers per hour, the fastest storm in the solar system. I also discovered Triton, the only large moon in the solar system with a retrograde orbit, with a surface temperature of minus 235 degrees Celsius, the coldest place in the solar system. But even more shocking is that in such an extremely cold environment, there are nitrogen geysers on Triton that erupt up to 8 kilometers high. It's simply unbelievable, like finding signs of life in hell. After completing the Neptune mission, I was flung by gravity towards the edge of the solar system, beginning a true deep space journey. At this point, I was already physically and mentally exhausted. My nuclear battery decays by 4 watts each year, and its power is only 60% of what it was. To keep me going longer, engineers had to gradually shut down the instruments on me. In 1990, my camera was permanently shut down. The camera system, consuming 40 watts, was considered too extravagant. On November 5, 2018, I crossed the heliopause and entered interstellar space, becoming the second man-made object to leave the solar system. At this time, I was 181 kilometers from Earth, and the signal took 17 hours to return to Earth, with a power of 10 to the negative 16th watts. Even less than the energy of a snowflake landing, but the 3 deep space network stations on Earth, those giant antennas 70 meters in diameter, are still tirelessly listening to my faint call, day and night. Now, with only a few months left until the year 2026, my power is about to run out. Scientists predict that next year, no instruments will be able to start. At that time, I will send out the last signal and then completely lose contact. Looking back on my life, I completed the mission my brother left unfinished. I saw Uranus and Neptune, which was humanity's only opportunity to observe these 2 planets up close before the 21st century. I sent back over 70,000 photos, discovered 16 new moons, and measured the magnetic fields, atmospheres, and ring systems of 4 giant planets. I proved that humans can visit multiple planets with a single launch using gravity assist technology. I am the complete recorder of the solar system and a witness to the human spirit of exploration. I set out before my brother, yet I am slower, later, and quieter than him. He captured the pale blue dot and became famous in history, but I quietly completed the most difficult task. Yet, I have no regrets, because I know that in the face of a once in 176 years opportunity, someone has to take the longest, loneliest path. I am the chosen traveler with an incomplete body who completed the most complete mission. 5 years later, on the day I completely lose contact, the deep space network on Earth will call me for several days, but there will be no response. Then they will announce that Voyager 2 is officially out of contact, but I will not stop. I will continue to fly at a speed of 15 kilometers per second by inertia, because in space, there is no resistance, no end.
Behind me is Earth, the home I can never return to. Ahead of me is endless void, with no end, no destination.
This is me, Voyager 2, humanity's most diligent probe and the loneliest younger brother. But please remember, somewhere 20,300,000,000 kilometers away from Earth, there is a small spacecraft carrying a damaged golden record, carrying humanity's greetings, still trying hard to send signals to you, telling you that I am still here, I still miss home, and I am still fulfilling the unfinished dream for my brother.